Arizona State can talk about how re-energized and rejuvenated they are until the cows come home. But they don't even have any cows big enough in the state of Arizona to do anything about it. We will win, and they will lose because of it. Yes, we're very glad to have your backs in this massive blackout, but best believe you're going to carry this L with a big black eye, staring at our Big 12 smiles. We will, in fact, welcome you to the Big 12, beat you down, push you around, and make you wish that you could end up just backing it all up and tapping out.
You are Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, y'all, and hello, all. Welcome back to Locked On Oklahoma State, your daily stop for all things Cowboy and Cowgirl related. My name is Cody Stovall. I want to thank you for stopping by to make this your first listen here on Locked On Oklahoma State. You could be anywhere. Love that you choose to be here. We're available on every single podcasting platform, visually as well on YouTube. You can find me personally on Twitter at AllDayOState. Yeah, so this is going to be a W. And we're going to kind of dive into some of the reasons why. And yesterday, we got to cover a little bit of the skilled talent that they have offensively. Jaden Rashada, very good quarterback. Cam Scatabo, really cool running back to watch. Xavier Gilroy is a good wide receiver. Troy O'Mary, the transfer from Texas, 6'4", 220-pound wide receivers, got some skills. Melquan Stovall's an absolute beast. Jalen Conyers is probably the best tight end in the Pac-12, at least top three. I should have also probably factored in the fact that they have another tight end, and Messiah Swinson. It's pretty daggone good. And then their backup running back to Carlos Brooks, kind of a nice Thunder-style compliment to Scatabo. They also, however, have a massive, glaringly obvious weakness that we should be able to exploit. Not only should be able to, we should absolutely exploit it. But before we get to some of these exploitable areas, let's review some of the defensive guys that will definitely give us some trouble. Coach Kenny Dillingham, he said a lot in recent interviews. And we talked a little bit about him yesterday. And as of yesterday, though, out of his mouth, he says that the defense is pretty ready and pretty prepared to go play the game. But offensively, they're still, right now, playing without any real leadership, and they're lacking accountability. And it's basically out of his mouth. So they've got some things to get ironed out. And we knew week 2 was going to be a difficult proposition for them to be ready for. He also said that, when the opposing team is changing what they do, their philosophy is they're already winning because they're getting you, right? They are forcing your team to change by necessity, or at least that seems to be his idea and or the perception. But when it comes to the defensive side of the ball, because we got to save a couple nuggets for the other segments, so we'll just kind of jump right off into it. When I was watching some of the film, and they have quite a few transfers, of course. They have the second most transfers of anybody in the country, not named Colorado. And OU dealt with like 46 transfers last year, didn't go so smooth, had a pretty complex defense, couldn't quite figure it out. You saw how that went. And then you see Dion get more transfers and what he was able to do with it week 1. Guys, TCU's still not a bad ball club. TCU's defense obviously has some questions, but Colorado's offense is that good. Colorado is going to be a problem for teams in the Pac-12 all year. But when I'm looking at some of the defensive side of the ball, guys, Jordan Clark, he's a reliable fifth-year senior from Arizona State. He's been there pretty much his entire career, 5'10", 185 pounds. He's pretty good in run support, flies to the ball fairly well, has pretty smooth hips in and out of breaks when trailing the wide receivers. He doesn't get out of position a whole heck of a lot, but, this is a group that is usually in man coverage, which is kind of what you saw in game 1 as well. And if they choose to do that against us, there's some problems, right? There's some problems that are potentially going to pop up there. The corrections that they need to make are going to help our wide receivers as long as we have the willingness at the wide receiver position and the ability to go high point the daggone 50-50 balls. Demetrius Ford, I really liked what I saw from him. He stood out I don't want to say the most, but quite a bit. And if you go back and look at his time at Youngstown and Austin P, he didn't play very much, which you would think if you go to that level of school and you don't get to play right away and you don't play for a couple years, probably concerning. But clearly, statistically, the light bulb came on for him last year at Austin P. He comes to Arizona State. He looked really good the other day. He was flying all over the field. I noticed that he was really good in run support as well. And he's their 5'9" guy. So a 5'9", a $185, this should be an exploitable area. Is it the biggest exploitable area? Not quite. We'll get to that in a bit. But there's going to be, again, opportunities. I do like what I'm seeing out of Demetrius Ford. I do not think that he plays like a 5'9" guy. He can make plays. We're going to have some opportunities to win, but he's going to make some plays. He's going to be a problem. I think Shamari Simmons, 6 foot, 190-pound defensive back, also from Austin P, shows up in man coverage quite a bit. And, he's got a little bit more size at 6 foot, 190 and a better frame to match up with some of our wide receivers than maybe some of their other cornerbacks. They do have another guy in Ed Woods. He's a junior, 6 foot, 185. That size is going to become a component, right? Our wide receivers, I'm not going to say that they're going to feast, right? But there will be opportunities. 50-50 balls are going to be, at a bigger premium in this game. I think that's something that we didn't exactly have a lot of exploitation of in the previous game. There's only really 2 deep balls. One of them was a pretty good throw. One of them was an almost flawless throw. So this could be a game where we see more of that. If they're going to stay in man-to-man coverage, I mean, come on. What are we doing? What are we doing? Gentlemen out here, if you're worrying about hair loss, what are you doing? Because Nutrafol is going to help you kind of limit that area of life. You don't have to choose between better hair and better health. Nutrafol provides the whole body health approach for men that promotes healthier hair. No drugs, no compromises, just better hair. If you think that you losing your hair is inevitable, well, yeah, take some control of it. Take some control of your hair's future and its future health with Nutrafol, the science-backed hair growth supplement for men. Guys, 80% of dudes will experience hair thinning in their lifetime, right? It is fairly normal, but it doesn't have to be your fate. You can get ahead of the hair thinning right now. Nutrafol is a #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve your hair growth with visible thickness and visible scalp coverage. You know it's going to work because clinical studies say it works for 84% of men, and 84% of men showed improvement in their hair after just 6 months. Now, I'm pretty new into my Nutrafol process, and I need it to work. So this is something I'm very, very heavily invested in. I love my Built Bar. Birddogs is the bee's knees, but I've got some hope here for Nutrafol. You should have some hope too. So get yourself squared away. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com/men and enter the promo code LOCKEDONCollege being all one word. Go find out now why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com/men, spelled Nutrafol.com/men. Enter the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's Nutrafol.com/men. Enter the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. Don't let fate bite you when you can get ahead of it right about now. Okay. We'll just keep going. We'll just keep going into the defensive guys that are going to be a little bit of a problem. When you're sticking with the defensive backs, the main man with the plan that we're going to have a plan for is Chris Edmonds at 6'2", 215 pounds, running a 4.5 40 out of Phoenix City, Alabama. He has 11 picks on his career, and he's turned those 11 picks back for 160 yards and 67 tackles, but 50 tackles alone were last year in Tempe. So you're talking about guys with the light coming on, right? This is a great matchup situation, whether it be DeJon Stribling, Jaden Bray, Talon Shetron. I expect Leon Johnson to even have some capabilities here. Again, we're talking about exploitation. The biggest exploitable thing to me, other than this area, is going to be tight end. Oklahoma State's Josiah Johnson and Quentin Stewart need to be competitive with Messiah and Jalen Connors. And if they are, this is where I think that we might have some room to play here. Now, Tate Romney is a 6'2", 225-pound freshman linebacker from Kenny Dillingham's alum powerhouse high school in Chandler, Arizona. Looks good, talented. He's very smart. But I do think he's a liability in the passing game for our underneath stuff. And even to some degree in the seams. Deshaun Mallory, on the other hand, 6'1", 275-pound defensive lineman. He'll be a decent test, but it's a battle we should win. Deshaun Mallory is a battle that we should win. BJ Green, defensive end, 6'1", 270. You're going to notice some undersized stuff here. He's got some speed, and he's got a couple quality moves. It'll be a decent test for whether it be Dalton Cooper or Cole Birmingham. But Clayton Smith is the Big 12 ready caliber dude right here, right now. Clayton Smith, 6'4", 230 pounds. He's a sophomore too. He's going to provide a very good test. So this is going to be another situation where our tackles do get a little bit of a litmus test. And then Tristan Monday was a very, very, very big get for them on the defensive side of the ball. He is Big 12 ready as a freshman, coming in at 6'3", 315 pounds. He will come after Joe Michalski, as he should. He should come after Joe Michalski with a vengeance. Because Joe Michalski, although he should be prepared, right? Because he's been going up against Justin Kirkland and Colin Clay. He should be. But his snap game was not great. So if this is a scenario where he's got to worry about his snap and protection, maybe that was part of the issue last weekend. This could be an exploitable area for them, right? Elijah O'Neal, he's another Big 12 ready style of guy, 6'4", 250 pounds. Is he already ready? I don't think so. But is he good enough to keep us honest and make us make some mistakes and make us make some difficult decisions? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. He should be. Their defensive guys here and there are going to give us some issues. All right, so let's keep going. Kenny Dillingham, obviously has praised Mike Gundy primarily for being able to adapt to the changing landscape surrounding him. He talked about the progression of Gundy through the years with the adjustments after Les Miles to Dana Holgerson, Todd Monken, high-flying offenses under Brandon Whedon and Mason Rudolph. You can even throw Clint Shelf and J.W. Walsh into that mix as well. We've had some really good running backs sprinkled in. Like we've talked about some of the NFL guys we had, like Chris Carson, like Tyreek Hill, Justice Hill, Jalen Warren. And that's realistically why I think that we have a chance here. Kenny Dillingham seemed genuinely impressed with the fact that Mike Gundy used to be a power run game guy to, different forms of a run game guy to a spread guy to then going from, the spread high flying offense that we're known for to then all of a sudden in 2021 having one of the top 3, top 4 best defenses in all of college football. Our offense was terrible that year, right? You take out Jalen Warren in 2021, the season could look different. But oh, how the circles have turned. We got to see the same offense as usual this last Saturday. Now, I've heard a rumor, haven't heard it confirmed, but supposedly there's a little bit of an idea that we scrapped the game plan a matter of, half a day before the game. Who knows? I don't know if that's true. Clearly, we did go more base than we've been working on. Is it by design? Right? Maybe. Just like we talked about yesterday. Could Mike Gundy be playing a super sketchy savant level of chess? Guys, what we've been doing and what we saw this last weekend are not the same thing. he still is a power run game guy. Mike Gundy has always been a power run game guy. Right, wrong, or indifferent, he still fantasizes about how great life was handing it off to Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas, and then watch them do the work that they were able to do behind the great success of the War Pigs. Now, do they have any War Pigs? No, not at all. You can't say that Oklahoma State has the War Pigs up front necessarily either as far as offensive line goes, but this is what I think is the biggest exploitable area. Their meat and taters up front on the offensive line is not even close. It's not even comparable to what Central Arkansas brought to the fold. Central Arkansas was comparable to a size up front. The Hog Mollies up front were going to have to put in a little bit of work because they weren't going to be able to just push all these dudes around. I'm not saying we're going to be able to push Arizona State around, but their offensive line is nowhere near in the same hemisphere of ours. And our offensive line didn't look very good. Our offensive line last year was horrendous. The year before wasn't great. So we're fairly familiar with deficiencies on the offensive line. Arizona State has a lot of them. This is the area of exploitation I expect us to take advantage of. This should be a game where our defensive line gets to eat. Yes, again, when you're talking about 5-6 sacks, not bad. But this is a game where 5-6 sacks is not acceptable. We need to uptick the tackles for loss. We need to uptick the sacks. And if you do that, you put more pressure on a true freshman quarterback, then you're going to give your linebackers a little bit more room to breathe. If their receivers want to go on an island with our defensive backs, I think that's something we're pretty comfortable with. But what we saw last week at a linebacker, not good. Not good at all. Now, Gundy did talk about in a recent interview that obviously there's some reluctancy when it comes to calling Oliver because he's been, coming from the side as opposed to face up most of his career, but he played linebacker in high school. So it's not like these concepts are completely foreign to him. It's not like he should be a shell of himself. He should be pretty productive. I definitely think that there's a lot of things that we can take advantage of here. So what is the game plan? What should be the biggest plan of attack for Oklahoma State going into this game? And I think another question we should all ask is, do you have tickets to the game? What is your plan of action to get to the game? If you don't have plans, it's okay because Gametime has you covered. You don't have to plan in advance. You can go to games. You can go to concerts and comedians and theaters with killer deals, last-minute tickets, best price guaranteed. You can stop stressing. The night before, day of, doesn't matter. Get the tickets whenever you need so you can get hyped and have fun for whatever event you love. They got flash deals, last-minute tickets, easy ways to find and buy the tickets for every event in your area, images of the seats before you buy them, lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, and job loss protection as well. Buy the tickets in a matter of seconds. 2 taps, you're squared away, good to go. Tickets are then sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through your emails or your satchels, man purses, whatever it is. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use a code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms and conditions obviously apply, but again, go create that account, redeem that code, LOCKEDONCollege, all one word, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. What else is a guarantee? I tell you. It's guaranteed that our defensive line should eat. It's guaranteed that our wide receivers should have a big day. What's not guaranteed is how the quarterback situation shakes out. But we have an update there as well. We've got some news. We'll see how it shakes out. But what I'm hearing right now is the plan is to give even series for the most part to all 3 quarterbacks once again. But it'll be less. It'll be less series to leave enough meat on the bone to put the best quarterback on the day in to close the game out. So whether it's 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, the idea is instead of giving them all 4 series apiece, Maybe it's 3. Maybe it's 2. Right? But regardless, the plan is to speed it up a little bit this go around in order to make room for the, if necessary, last 5-6 minutes of the game style of closer. This, to me, should do nothing but revalidate the idea that we should start Gunner. If this is the plan, again, same amount of opportunities, but less numerically, start Gunner. Go to Bowman. Go to Rangel. Find out who is the hot hand and ride that hot hand in the end. Like, that's big for me. Let's just not get too cutesy-tootsy because they have a lot to prepare for. Like I said, Kenny Dillingham praised all that Gundy's been able to change. But what he doesn't know is we're a power team. We're a power team that has been preparing to play power football up until last week. But what does he have to prepare for? 3 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, 3 tight ends, 5, 6, 7 wide receivers. They don't have a whole lot of time. Right? Regardless, this kind of sets up perfect. Again, this goes back to the super sketchy savant level of chess that Mike Gundy might be playing here, even if it's accidental, right? Gundy has adapted. Sometimes it was, forced upon him, but it doesn't matter. This sets up as one of these scenarios. We practiced summer, fall, power, smash mouth. What do we run week 1? The exact opposite. I expect that they will probably add some wrinkles with some zone coverages to confuse our quarterback as well, right? They're a man style of team, but we have too much talent for them to stay in man. And maybe they can bait our quarterbacks into a pick or two by manipulating between zone and man. But they're likely preparing for the last 10 years of Oklahoma State offense, correct? Right? Because that's what we've been running, and that's what we ran last week. So how do you prepare? Do you play it safe and prepare for the typical high-flying Oklahoma State style attack that you saw last week? Do you mix in a little bit of 22, 23 power style looks for your defense? How do you split those reps equally? You can't. How do you give your first team reps enough power looks and also enough 4 wide looks? It could be a very advantageous situation for us. I mean, I'm hearing good things about Preston Wilson's availability. We're going to need him. Also, we're hearing, again, this plan is to kind of give the quarterbacks equal opportunity, but with less numbers. So that way, there's more meat on the bone at the end of the game or into the fourth quarter. We shall see how it shakes out. But some of the keys, find the quarterback. If this is the style that we're going to use, this is the idea that we're going to roll into the game with, I'm fine with it. But when you have a hot hand, just go with it. Don't overcomplicate it. Find a quarterback. Stick with the plan that is working, or be willing to scrap the plan. Like we heard Mike Gundy had to jump into the offensive staff last week because they had a failure of adjustment to the defense that Central Arkansas rolled out there. Can't do that. Have a plan, but if the plan is not working, be willing to scrap it immediately and go to a different plan of attack. This has been a disaster for us over the last few years, realistically speaking, for anyone not named Jim Knowles. Jim Knowles was the epitome of a savant when it came to figuring out what to do in the second half. We didn't see a lot of that last year. We saw a little bit out of Derek Mason, but offensively, we didn't adjust all year. In 2021, guys, we won in spite of offensive coaching, as opposed to the benefit of offensive coaching. We've got to put players in the best positions to win. It's extremely unfortunate to watch guys be put in bad spots. Now, offensively, that's either on Dunn or Gundy, which technically falls on Gundy, right? But we didn't do very much adjustment last year, right? Square peg, round hole. We didn't do any adjustment in week 1. Square peg, round hole. Just better dudes. We need to send a message. This is the game to send the message. They're excited. They are rejuvenized, re-energized, revitalized, re-whateverized because of this move to the Big 12. Their blackout is awesome. Their uniforms are really cool. It's going to be hot in the beginning, like 113 degrees, but it's going to get down to the 80s. It'll get dark pretty quick. So I think it would be cool if we rolled out the solid whites. They're all solid black head to toe with barely any yellow. Let's pay him in kind. Let's go all white, Pistol Pete helmet, Bob Finnemore, black numbers with the orange outline, jerseys and pants. Let's go old school. They're going to go all black. Let's go all white with all black numbers and orange trim. The Stormtrooper style of look. Bring it on. Now, because they're all black, it would be super cool if we could wear all orange. But, home and away and how they all sort that out, that's usually done between the staffs way ahead of time. But yeah, guys, I mean, I'm pretty optimistic about this one. I expect to see what I've been accustomed of seeing this offseason, which is, again, the exact opposite of what we all saw this previous game. All right, so now let's finish this thing off. Let's tie a nice little bow in it. Let's go over picks last week. Last week, we went 36-10. I would say our best picks were Utah over Florida, Louisville over Georgia Tech, and Houston over UTSA. Now, 10-4 in the Big 12 in week 1, not so hot of a look. My biggest losses, obviously, I had TCU over Colorado. Now, I did say it'd be super close, but I even expected TCU to find a way to pull it out in the end. I had West Virginia over Penn State. West Virginia didn't look too bad. They played pretty well, actually. And Penn State got a bullcrap touchdown at the end of the game, kind of rubbing salt in the wound. Not a great look. But, it's understandable to some degree. And then, obviously, South Alabama over Tulane. That one hurt a little bit. But I actually read an article. South Alabama's coaches admitted they got punched in the mouth from the very beginning, and it threw them off their game plan, and they couldn't recover. Right? That's coming from their coach, which is what I want this weekend. Set the daggone tone. All gas, no brakes, show no quarter, show no mercy. Just take it to them. That's what Tulane did to South Alabama, because Tulane knew South Alabama has enough talent to keep up with it. So they let South Alabama know very early on, you might be pretty good, but you're not going to out-physical us on any phase of the game. And it worked out well. So let's go over what do we got this week. This week, when it comes to the Big 12 slate, we've got some games. Nationally, obviously, I think it's a little bit better than it was previously. But, 36-10 mark in week 1's not bad. 10-4 in Big 12, though. That's not so hot. Let's see. Week 2. Give me Rock Chalk Jayhawk over Illinois. I know Bielema has a good thing going there, but it's in Lawrence. And what you saw last week with their backup, Jason Bean, that guy by himself could give Illinois a hard time. If you factor in Jalen Daniels' health is anywhere near playable, I said we give this one to KU. And that's tonight on ESPN2. All right, let's see. Vandy Wake. You know what? That's not a game I would typically You know what? Man, Wake doesn't have Hartman. They lost quite a few dudes. Vandy didn't look atrocious. We'll play it safe. Give me Wake. Let's see. None of these games are really worth betting on or picking. Notre Dame. Should they beat North Carolina State? Yeah, North Carolina State didn't look great last week. I made a mistake last week. I'm not picking Baylor. Give me the Utah Utes over the Baylor Bears. Baylor Bears, you deserve what you're getting. Your support is terrible. And those ugly mustard bull crap uniforms, I hope you lose every game that you wear those stupid uniforms. Bring back the Baylor uniforms that were awesome. Bring back the RG3s with the real gold and the dark green. That stuff was cool. That stuff on the national landscape. You remember seeing Sean Oakman with the gold mask and all that stuff? Dude, bring back the awesome Baylor uniforms. I know you want to take away the negative connotations. Screw all that. You look stupid. You look like a big old mustard package of crap. And you played like it too. So you're going to lose to Utah. K-State, yes, they'll beat Troy. Colorado, yes, they'll beat Nebraska. What else we got? There's not very many games. Oh, Ole Miss over Tulane. Yeah, I'll take Ole Miss over Tulane. I like Tulane. I should pick Tulane because they proved me wrong last week. But you guys know that I'm still a believer in Spencer Sanders, and Jackson Dart actually looked pretty good. Now, here's an upset. I'm going to take Miami over Texas A&M primarily because I'll be watching the Saturday slate with my brother-in-law, who's a Miami fan, right? So just so I can be in his company and not deal with a bunch of crap, I'm going to go with the Canes. I do think they can pull this thing out here. Give me Iowa over Iowa State. Iowa State looked pretty good last weekend, but Iowa should be a top 25 team. So give me the Iowa Hawkeyes in that one. What else we got here? Texas State, UTSA. Ooh, that should be a game. That would be a game worth watching, actually. And after what does Texas State prove they're pretty good and beat UTSA? Or does UTSA prove that Houston's actually better than we thought? I'll take the Roadrunners. Give me UTSA here. Oh, what else do we got? That's not a game. That's not a game. That's not a game. A lot of boring stuff. Big 12, give me OU over SMU. SMU probably keep it close, though. I'm going to take West Virginia over Duquesne, but barely. I didn't look at the spread. Don't know what the spread is. Don't care what the spread is. I doubt they cover the spread, whatever it is, because Duquesne, at least last 2 years, pretty daggone good and upset a couple people. Don't know what the roster looks like now, right? They may have lost all of their star dudes. Not sure. Don't know. But they'll probably still cover the spread. Give me Cincy over Pitt. It's at Pitt. I doubted Cincinnati offensively. I'm going to go the opposite direction here, and I'm going to say that their offense gets them the W. I am picking Alabama to lose to Texas. I know that kind of feels weird coming out of the mouth there, but I'm not sold. Alabama's quarterback situation is still pretty sketchy. And Texas proved last year they've got enough talent to stick with Alabama. And if Alabama doesn't have the offensive firepower to break this thing wide open, and I don't know that they do at quarterback, I'm going to give Texas the dub here. On Texas Tech, you burned me. You burned everybody. You lost to a pretty good Wyoming squad. Do you come out and you prove that Wyoming's pretty good, right? It's at night in Lubbock. There will be batteries on tortillas flying like crazy. Oregon's wearing their all icy white uniforms. Betting Big 12 heavy hurt me last week, but dag nabbit, I'm gonna yeah, I'm gonna do it. It's a night game in Lubbock. Those are always difficult. I don't care how they looked last week. I don't care that Oregon put up 81 daggone points. The Fighting McGuires shocked the world. Yeah. Give me Taco Reckham Tech. What else do we got? UCF over Boise. Yes, because Boise burned me last week. Houston over Rice. Yes. Give me our Fighting Danas. What do we got? Washington State. Washington State. I like Cameron Ward. You know what? I like my upsets. Against my better judgment, give me the Cougars here. Arizona over Mississippi State. Yeah. Let's just, you know what? Let's hammer this Big 12 thing home. TCU will win. Oklahoma State will win. Cal might beat Auburn. You know what? Let me just look at the Big 12 slate. Sorry, this one's taking a second here. Should have had both. Okay, we got KU, Utah, K-State, BYU, Iowa, OU, West Virginia, Cincy, Texas, Texas Tech, UCF, Houston, TCU, OState. All right, there we go. There's the picks. All right, we got it. We got her did there. Sorry it ran a while. Should have had the picks like typed out or something beforehand. That's on me. But anywho, that's all we're going to have for this one. I appreciate all of you hanging tough. You know I love you. You know we're going to get this W. All right, y'all. God bless. Go Pokes. And more importantly, thank you for tuning in. I know you could be anywhere. I love that you choose to be here. Like it, share it, comment, dislike, whatever. You do you, boo-boo. All righty. Later, taters.